You're live. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. This video is a little bit different than some others I've done in the content. Um, I've got a specific purpose, and I'm actually reaching out with this video. I do a lot of work, as many of you know, in DevOps. I got to turn off the light here. Excuse me. We'll get into this shortly. Plan to make this a fairly brief video and hopefully to the point enough that you get the feedback I'm looking for. I got a post on Facebook right now. It starts off in doing research on the outdoors, from bugs to shelters, food and foraging. I'm finding a huge lack of consistency of information that's even relevant to the situation. For example, it's tick season here in southern Ontario, and probably in many other places around the continent. And I've already got my first tick bite. It left, when I pulled it off, I took a chunk out and it left this little mark right here. Isn't that lovely? A little bit of swelling on the earlobe, but that's because I've been rubbing it, I think, but it feels all tender here. That's supposed to be a sign to look out for. Last year, I had the big bullseye freaking on me the year before. And I find one of the biggest challenges outdoors, after the noise and people, is the bugs. And part of what I work on is like, how do you get a bug-free zone? What do we need to do to, like, I mean, you ever gone to bed? There's been bed bug outbreaks all over the place throughout the communities, not just here. I mean, around the world. I've been doing some research on it. A lot of people are having troubles with this. It feels kind of creepy, and it's kind of amplified when you're outdoors because you got a lot of extra things that are being integrated into your new routine, or into my new routine, to keep it personal. And when I go looking for information pertaining to the situation I'm in and these, bugs in the outdoors, it's all to do with the indoors. There's nobody reporting on how it works outside. Examples like tobacco. I found out this afternoon. I didn't find out. I was reminded that this used to be an incredible bug repellent, tobacco. Now, smoke itself repels a lot of things, okay? A lot of stuff. You can rid an area of almost every parasite with smoke. Sometimes flies, there's the odd ones that they seem to be attracted to it. I don't know if I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of anomalies all over. And to find a database or a share group where all this information pertinent to, say, the bushcrafting, the outdoors, the soft paths into the forest, the permaculture people, almost all of them are falling back on, and I'm not criticizing anyone here because I'm doing the same thing. And I know we got something to work on, and maybe we can find a way through it together. And that's part of what a lot of us were working on our portion of the internet for most of the years that we've been on here. Recently, we're still doing that, but now we're taking advantage of that communication that we've built up, and we're trying to reach out to other communities. I was on a LinkedIn video a few days ago. I was a guest on the show. I wasn't actually on the live, like the video part. We were in the chat group and behind. And we were highlighting a number of different things. Now, on that platform, we keeping it all very professional. But one of the things that they mentioned there was, and they didn't just mention it, they demonstrate it very professionally. And I'm trying to emulate some of those things I've learned. But like anything else, it takes a little while to be able to put that together. Unless I pull this live up and do it like this, I'm going to sit here or walk around or do whatever I do during the day and just keep ruminating through my head with it, okay? And I thought, well, this time let's take advantage of what I learned from that LinkedIn experience. There was a couple of videos I watched in a row that I just caught them. I got a message in Google or in my Gmail, boom, 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 one, and when you get perfect timing. So I thought it was significant, and thank you to those people that when you get this, I much appreciated, because without that, I really wouldn't know how to address what I'm trying to say, and I'm still working through it as I go. So bear with me. For example, look up. Should have kept the questions on the. I don't have the resources to. I had all these screens pulled up with all the information on. I could have just verbatimed it, but maybe it's better this way because it'll help me to see if I really, really got the message or not. I've always known from the moment I smoked that tobacco was associated with pesticides, insecticides, things like that. I know that it had been used in a few garden sprays because I'd even seen nicotine on the label, and I thought, that's pretty cool. It's, I brushed it off. Now, when I went looking up today, from the data I got, it's only a little bit, and I had to really search to find it. And there's some contradiction about, which is better, the nicotine or I've been practicing this word for 2 days now. Permethrin. Permethrin, that's it. I'm almost sure I got it right that time. It's supposed to be incredibly effective, has no smell. It gets rid of bed, but it takes care of a lot of issues. And I'm not suggesting out in the bush we do that, but it's got its application, because let's face it, if I was to get 200 or 300 of them over my body, it starts to create a bit of a pain in the ass in a very literal way. So I just want to get the information, And here's what I ran into. First of all, you're getting all these contradictory views, and it seems it's biased on one side almost 90% of the time. And if you dig deeper, you can find the caveat to it. Now, I couldn't find any data anywhere online of anyone mixing permethrin and nicotine. I have got some data on people taking cigarette butts or raw tobacco even, or just regular cigarettes, and just throwing the whole thing into, say, a gallon of water and letting it soak for several days, or several hours rather. And they use that for the garden plants, and it's no problem. But I can't find anyone using it on their body. And they tell me that the native Indians and so on of this country in Canada used to rub mud on themselves, but they always did smudging with tobacco. I don't know. It just seems like there's so many inconsistencies. And I find the more research I do on it, the more confused I'm getting. And then when I go looking for the actual meat and potatoes, that kind of matches my experience so far. I'm running into this. Well, let me try and find the formulation of words here that I need to express. All right, for example, I'm going to look up more information. I do the Google search, and then it takes me to, say, a YouTube site or this site or that site, whatever. All right, now I don't know if many of you have this, but I have all the addresses in code that show where, right now, I'm in direct core to studio, okay, then YouTube, video. I'm not going through HTTP www anything. It's a direct channel. So I get to see these addresses, and what happens is I'll go looking up information, and I'm noticing, hey, wait a minute. Look at the titling. Look at the address. Who is that person or that company in most cases representing? And it all has a commercial link to it. I'm finding this 100% across the board all day, and it's getting me discouraged. I don't know where to look where we can have collaborations with real-time people other than in DevOps, and even then it's a little harder, like in GitHub and some other platforms. That doesn't even make sense for those that actually are there knowing it. And that's great that we can do that communication, but I need people that are doing the barn boy routine, the barn girl routine, the wild woman, the wild man, whatever, caveman. Like I'm still trying to figure out how to grow a beard because I can see the value of it. Yet look at this, like a baby's bottom, smooth as silk. Um, that's an expression, probably not even apropos. So where can one go? Like, how can I connect with other people that are doing the same project? I know that sounds a little bit stupid in a way, doesn't it? Like all these bushcraft channels and everything, there's almost none of them owned by a private individual. They're always company representatives of some commercial interest that has a biased interest in certain financially viable products that they keep promoting. And when you're in court and you say, it's got to be beyond reasonable doubt, or if there's reason, fuck, I should think of what I'm saying more before I say it. But that was part of why I'm doing this video right now. Otherwise, I just keep letting it go like I do every other time when I'm doing anything on research to do with the outdoors. Like even looking up on burdock and this stuff I've been taking the last couple of days, Japanese knotweed root. I mean, I pick it from the forest right here. About 100 feet away, I just go get it. I go out there for a snack on the trail and I just eat a stick of it like I would celery. I'm not there to gorge or pig out on it. And I can see the health benefit. But again, as I look up the information on it, I'm seeing all kinds of things that these are coming from people that they're buying the pills from it. They're buying the product that they got from someone else. They're getting third and fourth hand information. I'm in a situation where I'm on the front of the forest here, and it's like I go out and I try these different weeds, and then I eat them. I figure out what happens. And I go back online and I try and find other people that have done it to get, did you experience this or not? No discussion. You go to the commercial pages or the ones that are represented by people that are representing a commercial interest, and when you hear the same answer and it's like, yeah, but that's coming from someone that read the book, not someone that's writing the pages to that book. I want to meet the writers. I want to meet the other people that are like I don't know if you could hear it. You hear that if you go back a bit, there was a little bit. My little friend Chippy is a squirrel out here. He sits on the tree just outside the door. As soon as I looked at him, he went quiet. It's like, yeah, so I want to hook up with other people doing the bushcraft science and research, but we also need that link to these commercial organizations that have the resources to do, the in-depth research. Like, for example, when I look up, pyrethrin and tobacco and different insecticides and, ask for a comparison of how they work, has anyone actually tried a test that is, okay, some guys, they spray a piece of fabric. Some of them, they make a little circle around it. But in every case, I'm looking at major flaws in the testing methods that will give an inaccurate result. But what will work is people in the field that are actually working at real time, and you can get, here's the feedback, and we can tell you. We can give you an experiment and say, all right, this is what you need to do to prove this, that, or the other, or to not to prove it, to gain the information of proof that we need to make the right determinations of the things we're going to present to others as truths. Because right now there's a lot of stuff that, quite honestly, is complete bullshit. And when you know that firsthand, like you've done the experiential knowledge of it, you've gone through the entire process of experiencing that. And I'll make an example in case you're not following. Isn't that cheeky of me? With this Japanese knotweed and the burdock, going out, I was told, okay, it's great taste and you do this, that, and the other. And I tried it and it's like, fuck off. You guys are crazy. Well, guess what? This year I went out and tried it, just did it my own way, intuitively, just for some reason, just clicked in. And I thought, ah, yes, it's the right volume and quantities. It's picking it at the right time. And that's hard to describe to anyone. And yet I know that there are people out there in the forest, at least I hope there are, that know exactly what I'm talking about on that. There's so much I do not know. And I know of the things that I don't want to know, if you will. And they have to do with like, well, what's this plant? What's that plant? Like I'm observing the seasons now, like being outside all the time, you get to know where to be each time of day to be comfortable. You tend to move a lot of different positions at different places, but you don't travel far. And most of your time is spent just resting and thinking. And it's basically what animals do. And in that time that I've been doing that, I'm kind of at a loss for information. I mean, I know there's platforms on there where you can get involved, but I've got some restrictions because of my online work, my online career, my online record, and idiosyncrasies. So, if anyone's got any ideas on this and how to start linking up, maybe share the information, or anyone that's out there doing this kind of stuff, if you've linked in for the first time, take a look at a couple of videos I've done. You'll get a quick idea of where, what, why, when. Uh, I'll eventually post my background of, what led up to where I'm at here. Uh, Gives you a little more reference on the level you can kind of communicate back with me. But I think sometimes just by seeing the person online like this and doing what they're doing, it'll give you a bit of insight too. We're looking for like minds collaborating on similar projects, uh, keeping in mind that there's a huge overlap of what's needed from the supply chain to the communication to the service providers, which is supply chain. And then your own physical comfort, like living outdoors as we transition to the outdoors, because let's face it, sustainability depends on it. Or does our sustenance depend on the sustainability of our current situation? And right now, look outside and watch what us humans do. We will run out of space and resources. We might have already done that. I don't know. But again, how do I facilitate setting up all these avenues of information where I can get the latest data relevant to my situation? Sounds like someone was using a hammer drill or a ratchet drill out there. Let's share some techniques. Let's share our stories. Let's get a little more involved. And if you can assist me in any way, whether it's constructive criticism and how I can present better, maybe Dave, just shut up. We get your point. Let us do it. I don't care. I'm starving for accurate information and hearing from other people that are actually doing it real time without a commercial interest, doing it from the heart because they know it's right. That way I can trust your information is accurate. When I see that dollar figure beside anything, right away I distrust whoever you are if that's associated with it. And I've kind of always been like that. I didn't know it until only a few years back. But for whatever reason, the gene that has me going like there's value in money. Don't get me wrong, the logic part of me says, yeah, I know, I get it, guys, I get it. But there's more value in accurate knowledge. And that knowledge can help us gain the understanding we need to be wise people and do what must what must be done, what needs to be done. To do what? live. I'm talking about bugs and fleas and ticks and all the different critters that can harm me. I'm not talking about going out there and trying to destroy anything. It's like, look, if I just soak a few of my cigarette butts in water and then spray that or wipe it on my body, I don't need it complicated. Just does it work? I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of experiments could be done. Now, I'm going to do some of these myself, so I'm contributing, but this is the start of it right now with this video. Anything else to add? Yeah, outdoor cooking setups. It's not practical to go out there with an axe and all this sort of shit. It just doesn't happen, okay? You want to be able to go out there with your bare hands, break sticks, crack them across your knees, crack them with your foot, whatever. You want to be able to go barefoot. Like, there's a big, long journey to get there. And I'm interested in the people that are right on that front wave of trying to find their way back into the forest in harmony with it without making a big fucking, dump truck sized fucking plow road going in with poles all over and electrical cables and connections and all kinds of irritating, annoying dis-eases for the things of nature. Diseases like bugs and things, and we're thinking of bug spray. You got the road down there with them cars. Is there an antidote or a vaccine against cars and the noise, the traffic, the interference? Is there a vaccine against the eyesores I have when I got to look at some of the buildings that we make? It's the constructs. Although I can appreciate some of the aesthetics in it, when I start seeing what's happening in nature, the actual natural order of things, I realize we've come a long way off the path and we don't know what beauty is. We really don't. Anyway, without getting too far off topic, I'll kind of cut it right there, or to avoid getting too far off topic. And we'll see where this goes. My hopes is to start building that little network where it's like, okay, right now I got a couple of people on the kind of DevOps and the spirit level, connects to the I'll call it the native Earth OS community, because it's not just one country or one native or anything. It's like these are people with a common understanding and common trust. Some of the original creators. I want to bring that now to my own local community where I can experience some of that heavenly joy, as some call it, right here where I reside. So we don't need ideas and input on, like, how to make a portable toilet or anything like that anymore. They're all logged, like there's a plethora of them. Now what we need to do is filter out what actually worked in that thing and what didn't. Bring in the characters to fill in the blanks that say, I can't, which means it's just like I'm a dark spot on the wall right now. I disabled live chat for this one, in case anyone was trying. I've seen how we can do the online asynchronous discussions and then rebroadcast it live to each person. Because right now this is a live. It's pre-recorded live by the time you get it. But at that point, we could still have the ongoing chat. But because this is one where I'm trying to initialize that effect for the server area I'm kind of, I guess, technically representing, if you will, for the bushcraft and journey into the forest kind of part of the project. So if anyone's got any ideas, if you've got any information that you think is helpful, think about where you can insert that information into this what would I call it? New project, the software development, if you will, for for see. Normally, I go on a live show or something with a couple other people, and I can get to these spots. And one of my friends calls them the "what the fuck" moments that Dave has, and they seem to know what I'm thinking and help pull it out of me and bring the words out clearly. And I really appreciate that. So it's a lot harder to do when you're sitting here by yourself in the camera, knowing that you have no intent of doing any actual live interaction with anyone per se. And so this is kind of a bit of an experiment based on something I saw yesterday that we were working on LinkedIn and Google. Actually, I was coming in from a Google hybrid Chromium something or other, whatever. And if any of what I've said has any relevance to you, please just tell me where you're from. Just say hi in the comments below. I do get them. Sometimes it takes quite a while because I got a fair path I got to travel each time I go through the web system. But I have been getting back to a lot of stuff, and I'm seeing how things are starting to build. So maybe this fits in with something I've already done, that maybe the pieces are already there, but I just didn't have this part that I've just done now. And I hope that any of you that ever even get, when you get that moment where it's like, geez, I just wish I could, and there's no one that will understand what you're trying to say. You can't just go and talk to your best friend even. You can't even go talk to your mother or your sister or your brothers, your friend, like nobody. Well, I find the internet is a great way to fix that problem for me, and it helps unload it. And if nobody else gets it, you know what? When I hear it again and I listen to it back, I at least can relate to myself, either positively, negatively, or whatever. But it is a form of encouragement and what do you call it? Encouragement and support and constructive criticism, because I'm my best. Like, I think I'm my best and worst critic at the same time. I know what I'm thinking, so I'm looking at it, it's like, yeah, but I also try and think, what's the other person thinking? It's kind of a difficult conundrum to navigate through with so many, shall I say, untangible things that are reckoning through my head pretty well continually that are not considered, they're not prevalent, they're not considered very popular, or in fact, they're considered fairly crazy in the world we're in today. Okay, guys, we're almost at 30 minutes. That's my limit. I hope everyone has a great weekend. I believe it is Friday, May 6th, 2022. Reporting from Camp Serenity. I've been told to give up the barn boy dream by a very close associate and friend. And, well, I can't do that. I'm just saying. Thought I'd make it public. Take care, everyone. Catch you on the other side. Soft paths.